Welcome back again, and today we'll be covering beams. Last time we covered a column design and we designed the critical column. So let's just have a look at it. Let's go to RC design and let's go to provided reinforcement. And we're going to select column 33. So I'll just double click. And here I'll go back again and select it again. And if we click on the main bars, you can see the main bars. It was a 300 by 400 column, and these were the main bars. And then for the transversal reinforcement, this was the transversal reinforcement. It was a R8 or C8. And if you want to see its spacing, we can just right click, and there you can see the spacing. So at the top there, the spacing is pretty close. And then in the middle here, it's 240 millimeters, and then down there it's 120 again. And you can put it as uniform. You can edit this, but today we want to focus on the beam. So let me go back to the structure model, and then I go back to geometry. Here we have the structure again, and for us to design the beam, I'll just design the critical beam. We need to see the stresses happening on the beams. So I'll just go to the first floor beams. Let me go to the first floor beams. So story 1 is at zero elevation. So at zero elevation, we did not put beams. We put the beams at the first floor. So let's go to 3 meters above the ground, above zero. And then I will change this orientation to XY. So there we go. So let's number the beams. Let's see the beams that we have here in terms of numbering. So per member numbers, we just turn on the member numbers here at the status bar, and there you can see the member numbers. So now, right now, I want to see the results. I want to see the stresses happening on the beams. So if I go to the diagrams for the members, and then I go to the stresses, I want to see the stresses, and I want to see the maximum stresses. I'm interested in the maximum stresses. That's what I want to see. And then here are the parameters. I want to turn on the labels so that I can see them. Because if we turn off the stresses without turning on the labels, it will be difficult for us to see. And the MY is what we're interested in, because these are the major moments that are applied on the members. So if I apply, right now we can see those stresses. I have to put the labels. So I go here to the parameters, and I click on labels, and then I apply. So here you can see we have one member here that has the highest stresses, that has the most critical stresses. So let's have a look at how we can design that. So let's go back. So I will just click on the member first. I'll just click on the member, and then I'll click on design and go to design here, and then I'll go to provided reinforcement. So that's how I'm going to design this member. So there we go. You'll get this window, which just allows you to select whether you're designing for simple cases. And I'm designing for simple cases, which are combinations of the loads that we selected. So if you haven't watched the video where we did the load combinations, you can go back there and watch it. So this is the member. As you can see, it's beam 65, and these are the general parameters. So we modeled the member with a breadth of 200 millimeters, as you can see, and then a depth, which is usually called a height also, of 450 millimeters. So the total beam length is 3.7 meters. And we know, as a rule of thumb, if you're trying to select the depth of a beam, usually you check the length, and then you divide by 10, and it can give you an idea what depth you're supposed to select for that beam. So if you divide 3.7 divided by 10, or 3700 millimeters divided by 10, you'll get 370 millimeters. But we know we have standard depths of beams, and usually 450 is quite a standard depth. So I went with 450. So if you have a span going, let's say 6 meters, you can do a 450 millimeter depth. So here we can see the parameters. So right now, what I want to do is to go and input the story parameters. So I'll go here to story parameters, and the environmental class, I'll select XC1. So in the previous video, I explained what XC1 is, and then the rest I will leave them at default. So the concrete edge, we want this to have a design life of 50 years and all that. And then for the structural class, the previous class I should have selected S4. So this corresponds to the number of years that we are designing for. So if the concrete is supposed to go 50 years, S4 is the appropriate structure class. So once everything is set up there, you just click OK. And then you go to the next option here on the right, and you select on calculation options. So here at the general tab, what I'm mainly concerned with is the cover, and for the kind of fire duration that we expect in residential areas, usually we go with 1.5 hours. If you check or 90 minutes, if you check the design codes, usually the recommended cover is usually 30 millimeters or 25 millimeters if you go for older design codes, but 30 is appropriate. If I go to the next tab of concrete, here remember to select the concrete class, and I'm going with a class 25 concrete. And then for the longitudinal reinforcement, which are the min bars, if you want the minimum reinforcement to be C16, you just you remove the other ones. So as a rule of thumb, for beams, I like them going with a minimum of C16, even if C12 passes. So let's just select the C16. And then for the transverse bars, let's remove the C6, and then let's remove the rest. And then for any additional reinforcement, let's leave them at default, but let's just remove the C6, and then we click OK. So next, we'll go to the reinforcement patterns, and we want the reinforcement to be done on the whole beam. And here we are going with auto, so you can see minimum diameter. For main reinforcement, we have the list that I selected is starting from C16. Then here for the bottom reinforcement tab, it's asking us the number of layers, the maximum number of layers. You can see the layers. You can have reinforcement in layers. If you have more than one layer of reinforcement, you can have the bottom reinforcement put up in layers. And here you can see you can have a maximum of 2, so you can set that up to whatever you want. So I'll leave that at 2. And then for the top reinforcement, if you check as bottom reinforcement, you will just select the settings that you've selected for the bottom reinforcement. So if you want to have it different, you can just uncheck, and then you set it up differently. And here at the transverse reinforcement, I'll just leave everything as default, including the other tabs, and I'll just click OK. And once I'm set up, I can just hit the calculation, and the reinforcement will be provided. And here, if you want to change the depth, you can change it. For example, if you run the calculations and you find that you're providing too much reinforcement because of cracks, you can change the dimensions, and then you run the calculations again. So here I'm ready to start the calculations, and I will run the calculations. So just click on run the calculations, and I won't generate drawings. I will just calculate. So the environmental condition cover does not satisfy environmental requirement. So this is a warning. So that's not an error, it's a warning. So the cover settings can be modified on the general tab in the calculations options. So cover verified value, the cover deviation can be modified there. So we set up the cover at 30. I don't know why it's giving us this notification. So let's just click OK. And let's go to the next diagram, the beam diagrams. And here you can see there's something called moment capacity versus the moment being experienced. So what is in yellow is the moment being experienced on the beam, whilst what you see in red here is the moment capacity. So you can see there's a line here showing the capacity of handling the moments, and then you can see what's the beam is actually experienced. So if you see a very large divide, it means that your beam is quite okay. So if you see these things coming close to each other, those lines coming close to each other, it means there's something you need to do. And then here we get to see the reinforcements, and these are the reinforcements. So let's see. So here we have the main top, and you have the main top, then you have the main bottom. So if you want to see them in 3D, those are the reinforcements. And then you have an assembly top. This is just the bar that is overlapping the two bars in order for them to be joined together, to be assembled. And then you have the transverse bars, and we can check their spacing. Right click and click on spacing, and the spacing is pretty close. We have one at 110, and then we have 11 others at 280. So this can be changed to 200. So you'll need to calculate, and then you change to 0.2. All right, that's the spacing. And then you can see the reinforcement provided there that goes into the column. All right, so that's how that beam is designed. And right now, if you're ready to do the drawings, you can just hit on the drawings tab here, or the drawings icon here, and your drawings will be generated. And here you can see it's showing us on top. So it's showing us the Stirrups as 6C8, and then it's showing us here at the bottom, it's providing two C16s, and also at the top it's providing us with two 616s. All right, so that's how you design a beam. It's pretty simple. Please try it out, and please remember to like the video, to comment if you have any questions, and to share the content. This motivates us to produce more and more videos. Thank you for taking your time, and see you in the next video.